What's up, everybody? My name is LB, the Realist with Surrealistic Studios. We're the Realist Surreal. Thank you for joining me today. So, I just got some things on my mind. I mean, I know you guys have been seeing me basically rant and rave about Bill Cosby lately. And the reason why I'm so invested in this is because I feel as though it's a bigger issue than just one man. Now, of course, we're talking about a man here. We're talking about a man's life. We're talking about his good name. We're talking about his legacy. But we're not only talking about just one person. We're talking about his wife, Camille Cosby. We're talking about his family, his kids, his grandkids. You know, his wife, Camille, has been attacked in the news. You know, she's been attacked by Sharon Osbourne. She's been attacked by all these different so-called feminists. You know, she's been attacked by BET, Black Entertainment Television, which was owned by Bob Johnson. He sold it to Viacom, but there's a black woman who runs it. If I'm not mistaken, there's a black woman who runs the BET Black Entertainment Television. You know, and to see an article be written, I don't know how many, I haven't been keeping count, but Camille Cosby's been being attacked simply for standing with her man, for being married to Bill Cosby. That's not enough. She's not complicit in this. She wasn't a party to anything that may or may not have happened. So to attack her, to attack his family, it's just tacky. It's just tacky, and not only is it tacky, but it's really fucking, it's nasty. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. You've already tarred and feathered a man in the media for 3-4 years before the man had a day in court. You know, and then now that you got Bill Cosby, you want to go ahead and attack his wife? What the fuck is wrong with you? They had an article written by BET. You know, I believe it was written by a black woman too, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but it just goes to show that the black community has totally turned their backs on Bill Cosby, the Honorable Dr. Bill Cosby. Like this, it makes no fucking sense. Have we all forgotten what Bill Cosby has done for not only the black community but for America? He was the first black actor that had a leading role on a television show, I Spy. That was back in '65, I believe. The first black actor to have a leading role. Tell me he didn't open doors for y'all. For all these black actors out here. For black people. For this country. He progressed the country. Did you know Bill Cosby was very instrumental, or probably the biggest inspiration for the ending of blackface? When white people used to, when they made movies and television shows, or when they needed stunt doubles, Bill Cosby needed a stunt double. He walked on a set one time and saw a white man put it on blackface. He said, well, what is this? They said, that's your stunt double, Mr. Cosby. He said, no, go find me a black man. Bill Cosby did that. Dr. Bill Cosby was instrumental in ending that blackface shit for stunt doubles. He's the reason we have black stunt doubles. You know, he had a show in which he created a positive environment and created a positive image for African Americans in this country, besides what was shown, you know, before then. You know, he made it his point to not accept any roles that would disparage black people. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to accept roles. That's why he changed it from him being a plumber on the show. I believe he was supposed to be a plumber or some kind of blue collar worker, to a doctor. He wanted to increase that image of African Americans in this country. And his wife was an attorney. So, you know, I know a lot of people bring up all the money, all the millions of dollars he's donated to historically black colleges. And yeah, that's true. He's donated millions of dollars. He donated $20 million or over $20 million to Spelman College, and almost immediately they took their honorary degree back. Hannibal Buress was the first person to jumpstart this whole Bill Cosby rape allegation shit back in 2014 when he told the joke. I believe he was in Philadelphia, so he was in Dr. Bill Cosby's hometown and told that joke and was very adamant about it. It wasn't just a fly-by joke. It was, no, you guys should go type Bill Cosby and rape when you get home. No, really, you think I'm playing? Go do it. Do it after the show. Go type Bill Cosby rape. He wanted people to go type Bill Cosby rape. He wanted people to find out those allegations. And I just have to ask myself, why was he so adamant about it? And notice, Hannibal Buress wasn't that popular before 2014, before he told that joke. Now, somebody was there in the audience in the back row. Somebody just so happened to be there to videotape the whole thing. So I forget, I don't know, I think I heard from somewhere it was somebody from the American Press or the Associated Press. I don't know, I forget, but somebody was there to record it. It went viral. And now we're here. Judd Apatow, he's a television producer and comedian or whatever. He was one of the first people to jump on Bill Cosby. So much that the creator of Blackish had called him out, I believe on Twitter, and said, dude, you have an unhealthy fixation on Bill Cosby. That's not exactly what I'm paraphrasing. He said something like, it's you got a strange obsession with them or something like that. Come to find out, Judd Apatow is working on a show or worked on a show, or I'm not sure if it's still coming out or not, called Confederate, in which the Confederate soldiers beat the Union soldiers, and basically the Confederates rise and slavery is still a thing. That's the show Judd Apatow is working on. I wonder if Hannibal Buress has got a leading role in that show. Bet you he does. You know, so I don't want to make this video too long. Damn. It says I only got about 15 minutes here left anyways. I got to do some deleting on my phone. But I just want to bring up a few points on how this whole thing got started and what Dr. Bill Cosby means to me as an individual, what he means or what he should mean to the black community, what he should mean to America. You know, Bill Cosby was one of the first people to, you know, win over white America like that. Everybody loved Dr. Bill Cosby. White people, black people, everybody. You know, he was a man of honor. I remember I watched the interview when the Jackson 5 performed on, I forget what show it was that Bill Cosby was hosting at the time. I think he was standing in for somebody. And they had the Jackson 5 there. Michael Jackson was there, and they sung Dancing, Dancing, Dancing. You know that song? And it was awesome. It was awesome. They performed. They got off stage, and they went to go sit next to Dr. Bill Cosby. And, you know, Dr. Bill Cosby had his cigar like he normally does. And he noticed that Randy Jackson was there. Now, Randy Jackson at the time I think he's the youngest Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but he was young at the time. He was just a small boy in comparison to Michael. Michael was older. So everybody knows Michael Jackson's the star. Well, this is the type of person Dr. Bill Cosby is. He brought Randy Jackson up from the front or from the back. He was in the back and nobody could see him. You know, he's so small, and I think he was playing the drums or something like that. He took him from the back, put him all the way in the front. You know, they had the Jackson sitting over here. Michael was over here, and that Bill Cosby like, here, Randy, take my seat. You know, he starts asking him all these questions. You know, he let him sit in his chair in the big desk, and Randy's all, you know, he's all excited. He's smiling. He's having a good time. And Bill Cosby's asking him these questions like, what's your name? And what do you do? You know what I'm saying? He's just making him feel real good. You know, he basically made Randy Jackson the star of the night. You know, so he wouldn't be overshadowed by his bigger, you know, more celebrity, his, you know, brothers, with Michael Jackson being who he is. And you know what I'm saying? So it just went to show you like what kind of person Bill Cosby was and who he is. You notice how he didn't have any problem with anybody nobody from the show really had too many bad things to say about him, you know, until recently. I know that one guy that played Denise's husband, I forget his name, but he came out with a letter or some shit talking about, of course, Bill Cosby did it, but then in the letter did not go on to say how he knows he did it. Just throwing him under the bus. You know what I'm saying? Unbelievable. Lisa Bonet said some strange shit, how he had a dark, sinister energy. You got a dark, sinister energy. We all got dark, sinister. Like, shut up. You know, this whole thing makes me mad, and of course I'm emotionally involved in this. But again, I don't want you guys to think it's because I have some kind of allegiance to Bill Cosby that makes no sense. No, it's not just because we're black, although I do see a race issue within this. I do, just honestly being who I am, knowing the history of this country and the history of white women, you know, blaming black men for rape or sexual assault. That's a real history in this country that I refuse to ignore. So when I hear all these people saying, well, all these women can't be lying, they might be. They might be. Especially when you have allegations that go back 50 years, talking about to the 60s. The 60s and the 70s. You mean to tell me that a white woman was scared to tell the police, or anybody for that matter, that a black man, a rich black man named Bill Cosby that was just breaking the scene, you mean to tell me they were scared to tell anybody that he had raped them or sexually assaulted them? Look at some of these cases. Some of these cases, he drugged them. Sometimes he didn't even rape them. He just petted their hair, or he, you know, digitally fingered them or whatever. And then they wake up. So he has enough knowledge to drug them. Mind you, they take maybe, some of them say they took 1 or 2 sips and they were out for 2 days. Okay, if you guys want to believe that, that's on you. But some of these women said when they woke up during him messing with them. So if you go through all the trouble, and you're a black man in the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever the fuck. You go through all this trouble to drug a white woman. Most of these women are white. Some of them one of them, the one with the afro, is actually Cuban. You know, the other ones are just kind of off black. But you go through all the trouble of drugging these women, and they wake up sometime later to you messing with them still, and their breasts are moist, and just all of this wild shit. Like, if you guys honestly believe that Dr. Bill Cosby was that sloppy in the 60s, 70s, 80s, then you are truly naive. You are really naive. Now, I'm not trying to say that it's impossible for a black man to have done these things simply because he's black. And I believe Bill Cosby simply because he's black. I don't think he could have done any of this stuff. There's a possibility that he could have. But when you look at the testimonials, when you look at the evidence supporting Bill Cosby, saying that he was never at some of these events in which they said these rapes and sexual assaults took place. His schedule said otherwise. They had testimonials of people that went against these women and said that they're lying. But the mainstream media didn't tell you that. Furthermore, a lot of you didn't care to find that out. A lot of you just don't give a shit because you have your conviction. And it bothers me because, to me, it's either two things. And I could be wrong. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But it could be two things. Number one is either you're really that naive and you just really believe that because we live in 2018 that, you know, everything is possible. You know, there's no racism now like that or like that now. So, you know, you're just that naive to think that in the 60s and 70s, a black man could get away with things like that. Or you're quiet about it because you silently benefit from this system. And what I mean by that is you don't want to speak up about it because you silently benefit from it. I mean, if you're a white woman living in this country, then you know that you could say anything you want to and people will just believe, especially in this new Me Too movement. You can say anything you want to and get somebody convicted. You can have, you know, look what just happened to Eric Snyderman. He resigned hours after the allegations hit. There hasn't been a day in court yet. He hasn't been officially convicted of anything. It's a very scary time, people, and I hope that people look at this case with a more critical eye. Look at this whole Me Too movement and this whole, you know, guilty until proven innocent system that we're now finding ourselves in. It's wrong to me. It's very wrong, and we need to really figure this out because innocent people are gonna pay for the deeds of evil. For the deeds of, you know, evil people, I mean. And it happens. We have a history of it. And I can't ignore that history. So this was just a quick little video. I just had to get my thoughts out real quick. I'm just gonna be pumping these out. So I'm hoping you guys enjoy them. I'm hoping they make you think a little bit more than you have. I'm hoping you guys don't hate me for the way I feel and the way I think about these things. I'm just a product of my environment and the way I was raised. All right. So until next time, I love you guys. Remember to love from your hearts. Peace. Chicken grease in your stomach. See you guys on the next one. Keep fighting. Keep spreading that enlightenment. All right. And I'm out.